Hello everyone, in the greenhouse at home again today. So this is the home edition of Greenside Up. There's a couple of things I want to show you in here first, and then I'm going to get on with sowing some seeds. So I'll just whiz the camera around and take you on a mini tour. Right, first off is some compost I bought. Now somebody commented the other day that I'm quite lucky to live where I do here in Cumbria, and I agree, I am. But there are some issues, and for one, compost supply is one of them. We have very light scattering of garden centres here. I mean, the garden centres that are probably in a 30-mile radius of me here are probably in a radius of probably 3 or 4 miles to anyone living in a city. Very few and far between, and compost supply can be difficult at times. But this is one company's compost that I've been using this past couple of months, and it's called Grow More. And you can see a multi-purpose and a Grow Plus seaweed compost. This Grow Plus seaweed is not bad, but I didn't buy enough of it, so I've been having to use this Grow More multi-purpose, and to be honest, I'm not that impressed. It does everything it should, it just doesn't feed very well. It doesn't support the plants very well. So yeah, I'm going to be adding fish blood and bone to that, unfortunately. But it's one of those things, I guess. But that's the first thing anyway. Let's have a little tour of the plants. So this is the beast, the bench propagator I've made, heated cable underneath, and I had a problem with this earlier in the year when this thermostat here stopped working, because the temperature sensor, which is here in the sand that's underneath, and you can see the soil heating cable here going underneath the sand, that actually should be underneath. I'll get that sorted out later. So it's a sand bed underneath there, and this cable is coiled backwards and forwards. But anyway, up here we've got some empty trays, some peppers in here which I'm going to pot on at the end of this video, some aubergines and chilies there, not doing brilliantly, but they're living. And I've got some flowers over here, Shasta daisy, Virginia stocks, some brassicas that are just coming through. And these are the marigolds I sowed just a couple of weeks ago, and that one's called Brocade. So these are going to want potting on, and I'm going to sow some more of these today. Some multi-sown beetroot and Ishikura bunching onions there. I have antirrhinums under here, which are snapdragons. They're yet to germinate. A few more peppers and aubergines. Not looking too clever over there, but then I'm going to tip them out. And another empty tray. Now, I've been asked to show my onions. So here we go, here's my onions. Now they're not looking brilliant, they were much further on at this time of last year. I say much, but not much. But they are making roots. You can maybe just make out that the roots are coming out underneath. And I am growing them in cool conditions and not under lights. And I've got multi-sown leeks over there and some more onions here that need potting on. And these are my station sown leeks. These will be for trenching out, doing them the proper way. But they've got a big mass of compost here, so they should grow well in there for quite some time. And I will feed them. In fact, all of these plants in here are going to get fed this next week. Right, on with the seed sowing. So first up is this one, my favourite of all onions, or any of the allium family, is onion shallot zebrun. There's a lot of people growing this now. It's a very, very popular, and rightly so, very, very popular onion. And I'm just palm sowing these onto a tray of sieved compost. Sieved because I will be pricking them out from here, and sieving just makes that job so much easier. So just scattered a load on there and just covering them in a bit of compost. They'll go on the propagator for a couple of days until I see germination, like I did with the onions earlier in the year. They just want a bit of a water on the propagator. Once they've germinated, they'll come off and onto the bench. So that's the first one done, shallot zebrun. Fantastic. Now I've got two types of marigold here, and this first one is brocade, and again I'm just going to sow them on here quite liberally. And this is the same type as I sowed 2 weeks ago, and that's those from 2 weeks ago. These need pricking out. This will just give me more plants. I just wanted to try those a bit earlier than I normally would sow them. So that one's brocade, and I've got another one here called the Fantastic Mix. Let's hope it is fantastic, and I'll sow that exactly the same way. They'll go onto some heat again. Those and the Zabron shallots can go on your windowsill. That's enough heat if you haven't got a propagator. I say you don't need a propagator to get things going, but that's as simple as these things get. So again, just sow these on. And I'm sowing a lot of marigolds this year simply because I'm doing more of the companion planting. One of my earlier videos was talking about doing that, trying to bring a bit more diversity into the plot, a bit more life. The more flowers you've got on your plot, the better it is. Marigolds will deter some pests and attract other beneficial insects. So again, these go on a bit of heat or your kitchen windowsill. Now I've got 3 more marigolds to sow here, but these are not your standard marigolds. These are Tajites. They're a much smaller flower. The flowers are about the size of a penny, I suppose. And I grow these for in the greenhouse, in the polytunnel or the greenhouse, wherever I'm growing tomatoes. I like to have these growing because they deter some of the pests that can hamper your tomato production. And I'm sowing a lot of these again because I'm going to be putting some of these outside. My normal marigolds go outside, and these normally go under cover wherever I'm growing the tomatoes, but I want some of these everywhere this year. All the more the merrier. So I'm really layering these seeds on here. So that's 3 more, and these 3 they are the Tajitas. The same. I've got orange gem, red gem and lemon gem. All of these seeds that I'm sowing today, they're all from Premier Seeds Direct. I get nothing for saying that. What I do get is the pleasure of telling you how good their seeds are, how good their delivery and how quick it is, and how good value the seeds are, because they're so blooming cheap and you get so many seeds, which allows me to go mad and sow like this. So again, same as with the other marigolds, just cover them, put them somewhere warm or on a propagator. Windowsill's good. There we go. It doesn't get much simpler than that. 3 more trays of flowers, so dead easy. Now this last one I'm sowing is called Cobia, and this is a variety called Mixed, and it's also commonly known as the cup and saucer plant. You might have heard it under that name because the flowers hang down, and if you point the flowers upwards they look like a cup and saucer. And all I'm doing is they are quite big flat seeds. I'm grabbing them between thumb and finger and then just planting them on edge in the compost. You plant them on edge, then water doesn't sit on them and they don't rot. And I'm starting them off in some of these smaller pots. They're about 2.5 inches, and I will move these on when they fill these, which they can do quite quickly once they get going. I'll move them on, pot them on, and probably pop them into some of those container-wise module trays, the ones that are just a little bit bigger than this, and there's 15 in a tray. I shall pop them on into there to let them carry on, and maybe even pot them on from there. Now the reason I'm growing these is they smell quite sweet, nice and sweet when they flower. I need to get them going early because they can lead a long season. But these are a climber, and they will grow anywhere between 15 to 20 foot long with a fantastic value. So if you've got a bit of bare fence, some trellis, grow them up there, or you can even pin some string to the side of a shed and grow them up there. I haven't grown them for about 4 or 5 years now. I don't know why, but just haven't. Things move on and change, don't you? But what I used to do, and what I will do this year, is grow them up between my bean plants, and that allows for the insects to come into the flowers and pollinate your beans. So it's a good trade-off. If you've got a nice thick patch of this growing on a fence somewhere and you go near it, you just hear the hum of all the insects that are there. So this is definitely a good one for wildlife. So I love that. Cup and saucer plant, or cobia. Another batch of flowers sown. So I'm now going to pot on some pepper plants, and this is a variety called California Wonder. These were sown into sieve compost, and you can see how easy those plants just come apart. That's why I do it. And just going to pot these on again into these little pots, and then I will keep these somewhere warm. Now this is something where you probably do need the heat, really. You can maybe get away with it on your windowsill, I don't know, I've never done it, but I know they're a warm loving plant, so no problem with pricking them out and potting them on. But these will stay on heat, for me anyway, until they get planted out in the polytunnel, probably sometime in May, I would say. So these and aubergines stay up here in this beach propagator until I'm ready to plant them, basically. You can see how easy these are coming apart just because they're sown into sieve compost, and this is the reason why I do it. Just makes life so much easier. There we go, so I'll get the rest of them done and then we'll come back. Right, so that's those peppers potted on now. They'll go back on the heat. All the seeds are sown today. You can germinate and grow on your windowsills inside the house. You don't need a propagator. The only exception might be these peppers. You might get away with them on the windowsill. I don't know. I've never done it myself. So I can't really comment on that. I've got a few spares. These will also stay on the propagator, and I'll ask around at my allotment site and see if anybody wants them, or I'll pot them on and then give them away later. But that's it for today. Look after yourselves, everyone. Please stay safe. See you all very, very soon. Ta-ra now.